Cuisinier is probably one of the most anticipated games of 2023 in the cozy gaming space, but does it live up to the hype? In its current state, no. In this video, we're going to be grinding down the newly released Cuisinier and giving a full review on the game. If you're new here, my name is Beck, aka Caffeinated Chaos Click, and I make content all about indie games. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see indie game reviews, recommendations, and more. Without further ado, let's grind this game down and see how it brews. Cuisinier sees you journey home to your parents' restaurant. Only they've left to go on a world tour, leaving you with a rundown restaurant and a mountain of debt to pay off. You play as Pom, a young adventurer who makes it pretty clear she's not really keen on the idea of running the restaurant, and even less enthused when she sees the state her parents have left it in. But with the help of Biscotti and the other townsfolk, she's soon convinced running the restaurant will be a great adventure for her. The story is woven into the game nicely, but without detracting from the actual gameplay itself. You've got main quest tasks like paying off your parents' debts, as well as optional side quests that see you helping out various members of the town with different food requests for different reasons. The townsfolk are all quite unique and have different personalities, which really make the town feel alive and add a lot of background information to the story, which really fleshes the whole Cuisinier world out. Overall, I think they've nailed the story side of the game. So for story, I'm rating Cuisinier as juiced. The gameplay in Cuisinier can be broken down into two main sections, the restaurant management side and the dungeon crawling ingredient collecting side. In the restaurant management side, you'll be serving up the lovely townsfolk with some delicious meals. Each recipe requires a certain ingredient, so you need to make sure you've got enough stock to create the meals. You'll need to cook and serve your customers their chosen meals and then rob them of every penny you can when they're paid for their meals. As you upgrade your shop, you can unlock new cooking stations to allow for different variations of meals, so you can fry, steam, or roast your chicken. And you can unlock upgrades for your fridge as well, so it can hold all the ingredients. The restaurant management is probably my favorite part of this game. It flows well and it's relatively easygoing, so it definitely brings the cozy vibes. The design functionality of your restaurant is pretty basic but functional, however it can get a little tedious to place furniture at times, and the inability to move some of the required objects kind of prevents you from setting up an optimal layout. You can't control which recipes you serve, which can get a little annoying when someone wants a meal you don't have the ingredients for. But as you progress in the game, you'll find this reduces, so it's not as much of an issue. In the dungeon crawling ingredient collecting side, you'll travel to different locations and make your way through different levels, coming up against a range of tasty creatures. Each type of creature drops different ingredients, and many of them have special abilities, like the chilies being able to breathe fire and the tomatoes launching themselves at you. Now this is the side of the game I feel really lets it down. While some extra balancing has been done, the levels just feel unachievable. You're often overwhelmed with enemies and it can be really hard to find a space to extract yourself and successfully end the mission. Dying means you lose pretty much all of your inventory, so it can get pretty frustrating when you get overrun after spending ages trying to collect ingredients. The levels are randomly generated, which keeps it fresh every time you go in, and you can locate fountains that restore some of your health, which definitely helps you make it through. And of course, you can upgrade your spatula and purchase new weapons, which makes it feel a bit more balanced. I really dislike that going to get ingredients automatically skips you to the end of the day, so you can't go and get ingredients in the morning and then come back and open for dinner. I think a mechanic that allows for travel time to the different locations as well as time spent there would better serve the game and make it possible to do a quick run for the 2 pieces of wood you need to purchase an upgrade. Overall, the game mechanics for Cuisinier have some definite potential, and with some further balancing, I think it could be a lot more successful. For game mechanics, I'm rating Cuisinier as buzzed. The graphic design of Cuisinier definitely gives all of the cozy vibes. The palette used is beautiful and makes it easy to distinguish between what part of the game you're in. I will say it can be a little difficult to see some of the townsfolk and the creatures in the levels at times as they kind of blend in, which I think could be an accessibility issue for many. But in terms of the actual graphic style itself, it's cute, cozy, and colourful and adds a lot of detail to the game. I particularly love the recipe and food dish graphic elements. I think they've nailed the representation of food in a realistic way, and it's easy to tell the difference between the different ingredients and the different variations of the recipes. The sound design is cozy and fun, adding to the atmosphere the graphic design creates. The sound effects are actually amazing too, with the different noises all making the game feel finished and realistic. I love that you have the eating noises in there too, and that they also have the option to turn them off. Overall, the graphic and sound design really nailed the cozy aesthetic and create a really great gameplay environment. For graphics and sound, I'm rating Cuisinier as juiced. Cuisinier is part Diner Dash, part roguelite dungeon crawler, which definitely distinguishes it from other games. The restaurant simulation aspect is not one we've seen combined with a roguelite dungeon crawler before, and this really makes the game feel fresh and unique. The tasty enemies you come up against are cleverly designed, and I can definitely say I don't think I've ever had a chili breathe fire at me or a palm tree launch explosive coconuts in my direction before. Cuisinier combines some familiar aspects together in a really different way that allows it to feel new and exciting while still familiar at the same time. For originality, I'm rating Cuisinier as juiced. Cuisinier mixes a cup of restaurant management with a splash of dungeon crawling and a pinch of cozy aesthetics to create a game that feels cozy and unique. I will say that the game mechanics do let the game down, making it feel tedious to play and easy to rage quit after dying for the 5th time in a row and losing all your ingredients. With a bit of balancing and a few tweaks to some of the mechanics, Cuisinier definitely has a lot of potential, but overall I think it just misses the mark. We've ground the beans, we've carefully weighed and pressed the grinds and brewed this game down, and now it's time for a taste test. Cuisinier is buzzed. Cuisinier is available to purchase on Steam. You can find the links in the description below, and that's where we're going to wrap up this review video. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more indie game content like reviews, playthroughs, recommendations, and more. And if you're interested in being part of the fully chaotic and always caffeinated live gameplay experience, make sure to hit the notification bell here on YouTube or follow me on Twitch or TikTok to watch my live streams there. Until next time.